Hi Pritha, welcome to the Talk Pad, a community where no topic is too taboo for us. And today we're going to discuss one topic, which is menstrual cups with you. So, just for your reference, guys, Pritha is a menstrual cup user for the past 5 years and has been advocating it fiercely. And she and her husband have opened this company called the Soul Cup Menstrual Cup in Singapore. And according to Pritha, menstrual cups is the best thing that's happened to her since dark chocolate. So, hi Pritha, welcome.
Hi Sharika, lovely being here, and I'm very happy to share my experiences about menstrual cups with you.
Thank you. So, first and foremost, we'd like to know about your journey with menstrual cups and how you came about it and how you started using it.
Sure, I'd love to share. So I heard about menstrual cup back in 2013. It wasn't as mainstream then. I saw someone on Facebook had shared a blog post, and the blog post was talking about how amazing it is, how it's made her life easier as a woman, and how it's reusable, so you're not filling as many landfills in your own dustbin. You can use it for a longer period of time than tampons and pads, and it was just she said it was better for her body. And I was just sold with that article. I did not research a lot like many other people do, so I just bought it. And what really got me to buy so immediately was I was traveling extensively for work to India and Indonesia, to really remote places. And there was this one time I remember it was really embarrassing because all my colleagues were males, and in the toilet I just couldn't find a place to dispose my sanitary waste. And I don't even want to tell you where I left it, but it was that was the moment I really felt that we need something different. And I made a switch almost 5 years back, and I have never gone back since.
Okay, so I think first and foremost we'd like to understand what exactly is a menstrual cup and how do you use it, and just like a small demo maybe.
Sure, let me show how it looks to you. So menstrual cup looks like this. It's made out of silicone. It's supposed to be inserted so that it just sits there and collects all your discharge. So a lot of people wonder, suppose this is your vagina, like how would it go in? It's so big. So the thing is, you have to make folds with it so that it's approximately the same size as a tampon for insertion. And then once you insert it in, it will just unfold. And your muscles stretch because they're very elastic, and then it creates a vacuum and collects your discharge there. And to remove it, you just punch it again like how you inserted it, and then once the vacuum seal is broken, it'll just come out. And then you can flush it down your toilet, in your bathroom, and you're good to go.
So one of the main things that I would want to know about is how do I exactly choose? Because, like they say, no vagina is the same and everyone has a different one. So how do you know which one suits you best?
So most brands come in 2 sizes, large and small. They recommend large to be used for women after childbirth, and small is before childbirth. I actually, like, looking at my experience, I see that most cups suit most women. There's some who are anomalies, and then you really find out through trial and error. I personally tried both the sizes. I could functionally use both of them, but I just found small is a bit more comfortable for me. So it's a bit of trial and error over there, but 90% of women do find that most brands are comfortable for them.
But like, what if the size is too small? Like, does it tend to leak, etc.?
Okay, so if it is too small, it would leak. And if it is too large, it might pop out a little and make it a bit uncomfortable. So using those measures, you can choose cups which are smaller or larger. The other thing that you have to notice, like below your uterus there's a cervix where all your discharge is coming from. And some women have a low-hanging cervix, some of them have high-hanging. So the ones with low-hanging typically would go for a smaller cup, and the ones which are slightly more inside would go for a longer cup.
But how do you know that your cervix is low-hanging or high? Because I personally don't know this.
I don't recall the exact technique, but actually there are YouTube videos where you can go and have just Google how to find the size of your cervix. So they tell you based on the measurements, like of your finger, like what kind of a cervix do you have.
So I think one of the most daunting things about most people using menstrual cups or tampons for that matter is simply the fact that it has to be inserted up your vagina, right? And how is that like something that you personally get over mentally? And first, second, also, like, does being a virgin have any like impact, or does it impact your virginity in any way?
So I'll take the first question. I'll answer your first question. So for me, I was using tampons for quite some time before I moved to a menstrual cup. So it wasn't putting something inside wasn't too much of an issue for me. And you don't really feel anything because it's going past your sensory nerves anyway. So it's not like a very uncomfortable feeling. People can start using it most definitely before they're sexually active. It really depends on your personal choice. I mean, I respect people if they say that they're not very comfortable inserting something. I mean, it's really about your own body, about having knowledge about your own body and your personal choice, whether you want to use it or not. But medically, there is no concern. If you are a virgin, you will still be able to use the cup.
Okay, that's good. And I think one thing a lot of people are worried about is the fact that it just slip out. Like, I'm just walking down the street and it goes plop and it's out, which is so scary.
Yeah, I've gotten that question a lot.
Okay.
And trust me, that doesn't happen. I've done so much of online research. I've worked with tons of friends to help them transition. And that doesn't really happen because firstly, there's a vacuum seal that gets formed. It's there. And your muscles are very elastic. So it's not good. I mean, it just comfortably fits in there. It doesn't really slip out. And I've done a lot of awkward positions. I've done a lot of yoga with a menstrual cup. I've done swimming, jogging, so no awkward situations so far for me.
Okay. And like just going from your question, like with the whole I'm guessing you can work out and swim, etc., which is obviously a great thing. But the other thing is, suppose maybe not me personally, but some other person who's a lot more fitter than me decides to do cartwheels or maybe a handstand, or do the contents of the cup just slip back in? I don't know, it's just in my head, it's just like, suppose I take this cup and I turn it upside down, right? All my coffee is going to spill. So is it something similar like with the menstrual cup?
That's a very interesting question. So firstly, the consistency of your discharge, like once you use it, you realize it's not like water, so it's not just like gushing around. It's more like an adhesive, sort of like just imagine a Fevicol like consistency, so it's not going to go swish easily. And then secondly is it's sitting in your vaginal canal, and it can't really go beyond cervix anyways. Your blood, even if it goes, it would just be like a trickle. Because the opening from where it's coming is very small, and because it's all just been inside your body, it's not really reacted with any oxygen. So even if it trickles a little bit around your body, it's really okay.
Okay, so I mean, I can do a cartwheel when I'm wearing the menstrual cup.
I mean, you try and let me know.
That's good to know.
It was very different.
This was my issue.
Okay.
But another one, this is like personally my issue is the hygiene.
Okay.
We understood how to put it in. Now once we're taking it out, so now like a tampon, ideally I wear tampons and I change my tampon almost every 3 to 4 hours, maybe. And for me, it's just taking it out and disposing it, and that's it. Now with the cup, obviously that's not the case. So how exactly do you go about this?
Surprisingly, it's quite low maintenance, although some people think it can be a bit daunting. So if you're changing tampons every 3 to 4 hours, then probably you'll be changing cup every like 8 hours or so during a heavier flow, maybe twice a day during lighter flows. So what you have to do is just make sure you practice basic hygiene, which you should be doing anyways. Like just wash your hands before you remove it, wash your hands afterwards, and just make sure you clean the cup with clean water. And you rinse it with clean water. You can wipe it. There's special wipes available as well, so you can use that to wipe your cup as well and then reinsert it. I typically do it in the shower, the morning and the night shower. So I just clean it with some warm water and an intimate hygiene wash before I reinsert it. So that's my routine.
And storage for the cup, because I have my period like 5 days a month. So the rest of the 25 days, what do we do with the cup?
Okay, so rest of the 25 days, just put it in a clean, dry place. It comes with a cute pouch as well. So you can store it in the pouch. And before you start your new cycle, just clean it with boiling water. So just put it in boiling water for 5 minutes. That's all you need to do before you start your new cycle, just to make sure it's disinfected.
So one of my co-workers actually pointed this out, was that a lot of people are allergic to silicone, and maybe they're not aware of it or whatever. So does that actually affect you in any way, or like the material that is used in the cup or something? Is there any do we need to get it prescribed or something like that?
Okay, so actually you don't need to get it prescribed, and if you are allergic to silicone, you'd probably be even more allergic to what is going inside tampons, because there are a lot more chemicals, a lot more absorbents, things to bleach it into, right? I mean, just actually the classification as a medical device for silicone cup is a lot less strict than even pads and tampons. Because not that many women react to silicone, but of course if you're reacting continuously, you're getting infections, then I would suggest you visit your gynecologist.
But it's not a specific, I can just get from any pharmacy that's available. You don't need prescriptions.
No, you don't need prescriptions for it.
So another question I've been asked a lot about tampons also is that what if I put it too far up? Like, will it get lost in my uterus? Will giving birth? Or will I push out a cup also?
That's a very interesting question. And it's anatomically impossible for it to get lost because it's not going to go beyond the cervix. Your cervix is a very small opening, and the uterus sits above that, so it's really not possible for it to get lost anywhere at all. And especially if you are afraid about that, try to buy cups with longer stems initially, so that at least you have that stem to pull it out, and it's kind of so till you get the comfort level that it's not going to go too high up.
Okay, but on the flip side, if the stem is too long, will it suppose I'm on the beach in a bikini, maybe not me, someone else. But if we're on the beach and in a swimsuit, if the stem is too long, will you see that? Can you tell that the stem is there?
Yeah, so actually if the stem is too long, you can feel it. For me, I'm more comfortable with the stem cut. So I just cut it off.
Okay.
So I've just cut it off because for me it just hangs there, and you can feel it because your sensory tissues are there.
Yeah.
So if you feel that your cup stem is too long.
So one thing about my period is that generally on the second or third day, my flow is very heavy overnight. And I need to get up in the middle of the night to change my tampon because I'm scared of staining. I have to put extra layers, etc. So will I have the same problem with the cup?
So menstrual cup typically can collect more than a tampon. So if you're using the ratio I would say is about 2 to 2.5 tampons to 1 cup at the minimum. Sometimes it's even 4 depending on what tampon you're using. So for me it lasts overnight very comfortably. What I typically do with the menstrual cup just for added protection is I use a menstrual underwear as well. So it's just in case I have spotting even during the day or at night, it just protects. But somehow I feel that at night actually there's lower risk of getting stained because of the way it's sealed inside your body.
Okay. So taking from this, another thing that I was actually really curious about is that when will you know that the cup is full or it's time to change?
Okay. So there's a bit of trial and error involved there. Even for me it took a little bit of time to get used to understanding on which days how frequently I should change, which is why I always recommend people to use it together with a liner or a light pad in the initially when they start using it. And then you would roughly just understand based on your cycle when you need to change. You might even notice some spotting on your underwear after 6 to 8 hours. We say that menstrual cup, you can use your menstrual cup for about 12 hours at a stretch. But then of course if your flow is really heavy, you might need to change it a bit more frequently.
Okay. Yeah, so one of the things with me personally was with tampons, it took me I think I wore it, and the second time I wore it I was used to it. Yeah. So with the cup, a lot of people are wondering how long would it take to get used to? How long did you take personally?
Okay. So personally for me it was really fast. The first time I tried it, it was perfect and it was working well. So I got really lucky that way. I have some friends who took slightly longer. It took them about 2 to 3 cycles to really get a sense of how often they need to change, how they need to wear, make sure that it unfolds inside because if it doesn't unfold, it's going to leak as well. So I would say typically at least give it 3 cycles because there's a learning curve involved, and that's why initially just use it with at least liners so that you're extra protected.
You heard it, guys. Please don't give up on the cup. Use it for a couple of cycles and then give up on it. And lastly, I just want to understand from you some positives and some negatives with the cup so that we can give our viewers some advice.
Okay, I have loads of positive, which is why I've been using it for 5 years. I don't need to dispose it, so no embarrassing conversation with relatives. If I'm visiting someone, I don't need to go and ask them where to dispose my sanitary waste. I feel a lot more balanced. I feel a lot more cleaner because I feel there's nothing reacting with my body down there, and there's no risk of TSS. That's what it's claimed. I feel like my body's exposed to a lot fewer chemicals, and then of course it's good for the environment and it's not piling my trash can with trash either. So these are all the positives. Some of the things I'm cautious about when I use the cup is even now sometimes I do get a little bit of leaks. So it's not really perfect all the time, just to be very honest. And that's why I was sharing with you earlier that I use it with the menstrual underwear, especially on my heavy days, for that additional protection. So that's one. The next one, I can't really think of any other negatives apart from that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. So the only negative is that it's not perfect, which is not the worst negative to have. Also, for disclaimer, when Pritha said TSS, she meant toxic shock syndrome. So another thing a lot of people have wondered about is that when you're kind of disposing the blood, it kind of like gets on your hands, maybe gets like a little everywhere, and people, I mean, while it's your own waste, I don't think you should be grossed out about it, but there are certain people who might be. So kind of how do you combat that, or does it actually happen?
Okay, I mean, again, it's your personal preference. I'm not gonna lie, you might get your hands dirty literally, but it's very easy to wash it off. So I would just say that use personal hygiene. And one of the things with the cup, another positive, is it does no odor and it doesn't feel as disgusting as it feels when you're using a pad or tampon, the discharge itself. So you'll be quite surprised how different it is when it's not reacted with anything versus what it is in your pads. But then again, I totally understand if some people get grossed out by blood, etc. So yeah, just make sure you are comfortable with it, with your own body before you start using it.
Okay, so on the research that I did with the menstrual cup, I noticed that it's very expensive and it's not, like the purchase. If I have to keep buying it frequently, because my pads or tampons I buy every month, right? So if I have to keep buying the cup frequently, I'm not going to do it. It's too expensive. Yeah. So how does one counter that?
So you're right. Menstrual cup is more expensive, but think of it as a one-time investment. You're buying your pads every month, so what you're spending about $10 to $15 on that. A menstrual cup would cost you typically $50-$60 at max, and it can last for a really long time. So depending on what different sites say, it can even last up from 5 to 10 years. I personally change mine every year, just to be extra cautious and extra hygienic. But then again, it's your choice how frequently you want to change it. I would personally recommend my friends to change it once a year as well. And even if you use it for once a year, it's actually going to be a lot cheaper for you than buying pads and tampons.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I hope you guys have had all your questions answered about menstrual cups. I know I've had mine. Thank you so much, Pritha, for coming and joining us and answering all our questions. It was really good to see you.
It was a pleasure being here and talking so candidly about a topic I strangely love. So I'm a bit of a weirdo that way.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.